Speaking of evil, now to our top story, Hamas. They started this. Here's the news flash for Hamas. Israel's going to end it, and they will finish it in strong fashion. Look at this headline. Byron Donald slams Biden for weakness on world stage, calls him the master of disaster. The congressman then posted the following on X. Here's the quote. "We arrived at this chaotic moment because there's weakness in the White House. No one talks about it, but we've lost 4 embassies under Biden, and this is another disaster on his watch. When terrorists see weakness, they push. We must support Israel, and they must have total victory." Let's get more on that now from Congressman Byron Donalds, who joins us now on American Sunrise. Congressman, always good to see you. Obviously, under these circumstances, this is rough stuff. It's more than rough stuff. It's evil stuff. And you mentioned total victory. So I'm curious what that looks like in your mind. What is total victory here?
Well, the complete elimination of Hamas. And I'm not going to mince words. That happens too often up here on Capitol Hill. Israel must eliminate Hamas. It's that simple. When you have the political head of the Gaza Strip plot and orchestrate, I do believe, with other people as well as Iran, a move to go through southern Israel, to rape, to pillage, to murder, and then to take hostages, they got to be eliminated. You cannot just go back to peace talks. What some of my Democrat colleagues are saying, looking for a ceasefire or a de-escalation. No, there has to be retribution when something like this occurs. That's what I mean by total victory. Hamas must be obliterated. That's simple.
The radical Democrats in D.C. can't come together on the terror attacks in Israel. The radicals on this issue are as radical gets, right? I mean, this is the definition of radical at its most hyper extreme. There's a lot, and we have to be honest about this, of Jew hatred in the Democrat Party. We saw yesterday that most student groups at Harvard and now other Ivy League schools are starting to follow suit. These are the staffers in the White House, Congressman. What do we do about the deep-seated anti-Semitism we're witnessing across this country in city after city on college campuses? What do we do about that problem?
Well, the first part is we do on a longer projection. We got to look at higher education. What is being fomented at our universities, frankly, is insane to me. There is this ideology that comes from these professors, is from all these safe spaces where there is no dialogue, there's no actual debate, there's no real information being provided. It's just a point of view from people who are anti-Semitic, who do have a major issue with the Jewish people. And you're seeing that actually roll out in a lot of the streets in America right now, coming out in support of this terror campaign that was waged by Hamas. That's the first thing. The second thing is, for the Democrats on Capitol Hill who are calling for de-escalation, they need to be called out by their own party. Typically what happens, and I think my colleague out of Iowa, Zach Nunn's going to have a resolution condemning the attacks. So what happens is we go on the floor, we vote for a condemnation, and then that gives cover to these members with respect to the media and going forward. There should be no cover. The Democrat Party should have to answer for this and call out their own members about what we are seeing right now.
Yeah.
Congressman Donalds, let me ask you about Iran's role in all of this. Talking about a country that needs to answer for this. They support Hamas. They helped Hamas in all of this. They funded the operation. They fund Hezbollah in the north. What happens if Hezbollah decides to have certain incursions or more, worse, in the north? That takes on a whole different scenario here. And what should America's involvement be at that point, based on the fact that this could widen and widen quickly?
Well, listen, if Hezbollah decides to incur from the north, we need to be fully supportive of Israel's movements on 2 fronts. And if it means that we have to support our ally to help them keep their borders intact, then that's what we need to do. We cannot be a weak country right now. And look, and I get it. We have a lot of people in our country. Many of your viewers do not want to be involved in endless wars and these extended campaigns. But when your chief ally in the region is under attack, you got to be there to support your friend. So I'm not one who believes in democracy building and these extended multi-year, multi-decade campaigns. No.
Right.
What I believe in is you go in, you support your ally, the enemy has to be destroyed, and then you continue on from there.
You know, we keep hearing, Congressman, about this apoplexy that's happening over we don't have a speaker. The Republicans are in disarray, right? But the reality is we don't have a president. And for most of us looking at this scenario, that is probably one of the most terrifying prospects I can possibly contemplate. Congressman, why is nobody mentioning the fact that we don't have a president?
Well, the reason why it doesn't get talked about is because the master of disaster, Joe Biden, is nowhere to be found. This man has not even gone and addressed the American people, let alone the world. It's been 3 days and no comments. I personally believe the reason why there's been no comment is because he has no comment, because this entire foreign policy debacle is the creation of Joe Biden and Joe Biden alone with some of his close allies. Everybody needs to remember, it was Jim Baker who said that Joe Biden has been wrong on every foreign policy issue facing the United States the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Jim Baker's not a Republican. He's a Democrat. And he has said that. And Joe Biden is repeatedly wrong. We have no leadership in the White House. The Iranians know it. The Chinese know it. The Russians know it. Hamas knows it. Hezbollah knows it. And we have to get this guy out of the White House. It's that simple, because he is a disaster for our country, and more people will suffer as a result.
Congressman Donalds, just 30 seconds here, but the speaker race, Jim Jordan, Steve Scalise, no one is close to 218. How does this end? What's your prediction here as to what happens?
Well, look, my support is for Jim Jordan. I predict that he's going to be the next Speaker of the House. Look, members of Congress are just going to have to sit down and make a decision. There's a lot of members who haven't decided which way they're going to go. I think the time is now for Jim Jordan to become the Speaker of the House. With all due respect to Steve Scalise, I have a lot of respect for him, but we need a new line of leadership here in the House of Representatives. That's Jim Jordan. I believe that the members are going to buckle down and make that decision, and we're going to move forward.
Sure.
Congressman Byron Donalds, we appreciate you. Thanks for being with us.